G3YPZ, Victor Echo 6, Charlie, Quebec, in Western Canada. I think your calculations are correct. I don't know, having done this for a few cycles now, whether or not we will have a path at that time. I think you will have a path to North America. You will have a path to North America, to the stations in the eastern seaboard, the Midwest, the South, and possibly into Nevada and Arizona, maybe. But as we get deeper into the winter and you lose your daylight, that's going to close this path off, because we're also on the wrong end of that connection. By that time, the propagation between us may fall apart. Now, that's not to say that we aren't going to make a contact, but it does tell me that there's going to be a shorter opening, and we will not have the signals that you will be able to work from the East Coast. So I think we are maximizing the path with daylight on both sides of the connection right now. We're doing the very best we can at this hour. I can't imagine it getting better, but because of the elevated solar flux, it may give us a better opportunity than we expect. So I'm hoping that the elevated solar flux will help us tremendously. And by the way, John, I know that you're very active on 10 meters AM in Europe on those days when the transatlantic paths are not open. You're probably working stations in the 10-meter window from across Europe. Please tell Aldo and Franco in Italy, both of the very popular and aggressive AM stations. Please tell Aldo and Franco that their Canadian counterpart in Calgary is looking for them. And I will consider the solar cycle 25 a success. I will consider solar cycle 25 a success when I work Aldo or Franco. So please pass those words along. G3YPZ, Victor Echo 6, Charlie, Quebec. How do you copy?
That would be great, Rick. VE6CQ, G3YPZ. Well, that would be wonderful. And, yeah, my email is okay on QSO.com. So that's absolutely fine. Now, that's an interesting idea about putting some AM down in that lower part of the spectrum. That can be pretty noisy over here in Europe. There's a lot of Russian stations that operate down there. But at the times that you're suggesting, which will be, you know, any time onwards from this sort of time, that skip by and large will have gone. So yeah, that's certainly worth considering, Rick, and sorting out maybe for a bit later on in the week. I think we need to do it fairly soon before we lose too much daylight. And I think also that 15 meters would be open later. Generally what happens is 15 opens up earlier and closes later than 10 meters. And similarly, as you go down to 20, that situation is the same there as well. I don't think I would have any problems working you on 20, because when I worked Steve, I was getting 20 over 9 report from him on 20, and he was doing the same with me. Now, he doesn't have Collins gear anymore, I know that. So whether he's the chap that you're thinking of, I don't know. But he is very active. He's active on a lot of CW, and he's very keen on AM as well. And there are not many VKs that are on AM these days. And That would be really good. Now, regarding Franco and Aldo, I've worked Aldo recently, but I haven't worked Franco for over a year. But I know he's on the band because I've been hearing him being worked. And I usually work him during the sporadic season of the summer, but I didn't hear him at all this year. Franco running 100 milliwatts or less. VE6CQ, G3YPZ. Did I hear someone breaking in? W2OT, I wonder if you're hearing Rick. Very good evening to you. You're about 5 and 7 with me over in the UK. Let me see if Rick's hearing you. VE6CQ, G3YPZ. Go ahead, Rick. Okay, W2OT, G3YPZ with VE6CQ. Rick isn't hearing you at the moment. Very good evening to you. You're 5 and 6, 5 and 7 on the call-in. My name is John, and I'm on the East Coast. W2OT, G3YPZ.